Hi, welcome to day 4 of the 10-day challenge. I'm Nikki, the communications coach. Thank you for taking 5 minutes out of your day to spend with me. And also thank you to everybody that has left feedback and questions and comments and telling me about the challenges that you've had over the last few days. So moving on from what we've been talking about, we're going to talk about you and how your life and your communication is all about you. And also that there's nothing wrong with that. So because if it wasn't all about you, how else would you possibly be happy? So what I mean by that is you come at everything from your own point of view, and your own point of view will be tainted by your values and beliefs and the experiences that you've had in your life. So let me give you a very simple example of that. If you have been brought up in the belief that all German Shepherds are dangerous dogs and your parents were very frightened of them, then you probably have a very similar fear of German Shepherds, and that will affect your behaviour. So it might be that when you see one walking down the road, you'll cross over the road. It will also affect the way that you communicate. So you might say to the person that you're with, oh my gosh, we must cross the road because there's a very dangerous dog there. Now, if you were brought up in a household full of German Shepherds, then you would never have the same behaviour patterns or the same thought processes as the other person. Now, we are all very individual, which is great, which makes us all really unique. We all have the same emotions. It depends who you read up on, as to depends how many emotions you think there are. Some people say there's 7, some people say there's 8, and then there's other emotions that stem from the main ones. But I've been lucky enough to travel around the world and teach negotiation and crisis communication, and I have found that no matter what the culture, the emotions are the same, and people have the same fears and the same thoughts and the same emotions: love, hate, anger, frustration. And you can look them up online. Even Aristotle had his own 8, I believe, emotions that he talked about. But the thing that makes us unique is our values and our beliefs and our own personal experiences. Now, you get your values and beliefs from a whole variety of places, from your parents, from your childhood, from your school, from your peers, from social media, from normal media, and they will influence what you think about life. If you think about the way, I don't know, you spend Christmas, and it will probably depend on whether you enjoyed your family Christmases or not. If you enjoyed your family Christmases, you're likely to carry on the tradition now with your family. If you didn't, then you've probably changed it. And what about the way that you speak to your children if you have children? Have you found yourself ever saying the things that your parents said to you, and you suddenly stop and think, oh my goodness, I sound like my mother? I certainly have found myself doing that. And as I said the other day, you know, you're a great parent until you have children. But they are very entrenched in you, and your belief system is very entrenched in you, and it's very unconscious. So you will make instant decisions and judgments about people based on what you believe to be true. Now, every single person watching this video will have a completely different experience about what this video is showing to them, and depending on what you believe to be true will be dependent on how you react to these videos, and there's nothing wrong with that. We are very selfish because we see the world from our point of view, and we also want to know what's in it for me. Really important. What is in it for me? Is this worth my time? Is this worth my money? What am I going to get from this? What are other people going to think about me? And that's a really important thing, and we'll come back to that over the next few days about what will other people think about me, because we have this big fear factor, and sometimes we compromise our values around what other people think of us. But we'll leave that for another day because that's a very big subject. But I want you to think about how your values and beliefs affect your communication. And it might just be simple little things. So, for example, how many of you now say money doesn't grow on trees, you have to work hard for your money? Because that's what you've been brought up to believe, and that's what's been said to you before. And now you have a firm entrenched belief that that is true. What about when you sat down for dinner and you were told to eat everything on your plate, and there were starving children across the world who would give anything to have the food that you're having now, and so you ate everything on your plate? Now, how many of you now have a problem leaving food on your plate? Because that's the way we've been brought up. Or you go to a restaurant and you order a meal and you pay for the meal, and when you went out with your family and if a meal was paid for, people would say, you've got to eat everything, we've paid for it. Does that affect you? Can you relate to that? Do you have other similar situations that affect your own life because of your values and beliefs and because of what you were told as a child, or as you were told when you were growing up? Do you not walk under ladders? Do you believe in superstition? Another belief system. depending on whether your parents were religious. That will probably change. You might have even rebelled against that because you didn't want to go to that religion. And some people's values and beliefs are incredibly strong, and people will die for them. You only have to look at what is happening around the world at the moment to realise that. And so I would like you this 24-hour period to think about how your values and beliefs show up for you. Do you find yourself saying things? Do you find yourself stamping your authority on other people because of what you believe to be true? This can even be true if you're driving a car. You know, you're driving along and somebody whizzes past and you'll make some comment, a throwaway comment, based on what you believe to be true and how you drive. It's funny, isn't it? It shows up all the time. I've really noticed how much it does show up, but you have to be conscious about that. So as we go into tomorrow, and we're going to start talking about listening and how we listen from our own values and beliefs as well, I'd just like you to think over this 24-hour period. What is showing up in my life? How are my values and beliefs affecting the way that I communicate with other people, the way that I judge other people? Because we all have a story. Every single one of us has a story. We all have our own battles. The thing about us is we're very quick to judge without knowing other people's stories, and we'll come into that as well in listening. Anyway, that's the end of day 4. Gosh, that's gone very quickly. I could talk about this for ages, and we'll move on and continue this tomorrow. So thanks very much for tuning in. Please get in contact with me at info@thecommunicationcoach.co.uk, or on my Facebook page, or message me, or Nikki Comms Coach at Twitter as well. I'd love to hear your comments, love to hear what you would like to talk about, and I look forward to sharing some more information with you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening.